think that fucking happened, dude. Because there's literally, okay, if you're Italian, where is, like, the one person with an Italian first name or an Italian last name in your whole fucking family? Italians don't name their fucking kids Jason. Okay, let me get that fucking clear. All right? Just like they won't name them Tyler, Josh, Tad, whatever the fuck gay wasp name that you know, other, you know, Anglos will name their kids. They don't do that. So, like, you're obviously faking the fucking funk. Where's the Italians in your family? You fucking poser. Like, you just like, everything about him is a fucking lie. It's so, and I know it sounds like minor in a way, but it's just like, I have to call it out. It's bullshit. And you know. Dude, and I would say, like, I did a whole room on him where I aired out a lot of this bullshit. But what I am curious about was in the last room, this fucking degenerate had to live in, you know, for 6 months in a homeless shelter, which I would say good. You gave a review for your lawyer where you said you were looking at 25 years. Obviously, you didn't get hit with the rape charge. Or whatever the fuck it was that you were originally charged with, but yeah, why? I don't. You had to live with a bunch of other people that were unsafe to be around. Well, I mean, you probably deserve to live around them. To be honest with you, yeah. I mean, women do not deserve to live around you. I'll just say that.
Did he? Well, how the hell did they kick Brett out and put that guy in? That guy had just just saying positive things all the time, but never really getting too deep in anything. Being super like non-racist, like he was like a morning coffee type guy.
Who are you talking about?
Talking about Jay.
Yeah, Jay. Jay can't take. See, the problem with people like Jay is that he cannot give an original thought. Now, I think it's not only because he's dumb, but it's like also because his goal is to try to win over people in order to gain clout. This is the weird thing about him, though, is like, okay, dude, when I first came on this app, I had clout, bitch. Where were you? Motherfucker, there's no clout on this goddamn app anymore. You stupid motherfucker. I'm literally making fun of you because it's fun. There is no clout. That's why all of the talented content creators left. Your dumbass was never a content creator. Name any goddamn room where people came to listen to Jay speak. It never fucking happened. They would go to... People go to Lou Fax rooms. They go to Whack 100's rooms. We can go back to, the fuck is his name? Mon's not here. There's this guy in Atlanta, him and his brother, the Roosevelts.
Freddie.
Yeah, we can go back to, like, we can look at Ion. We can look at all of these fucking people that could actually carry a fucking room. And then, we look at somebody who, he doesn't carry a room. He just, introduces people, flatters them, lets them give their brief opinion, tells them to hold on, because he has to flatter somebody else. Then he has to fucking, I don't know, give his stupid fucking worthless take. This guy's a trash.
No. If he wasn't, convicted of raping and pimping and all that shit, it's a whatever morning talk show.
No, it's not even. Morning talk shows are more interesting to listen to. He doesn't have that down even. He's not somebody. But here's the real deal: is he probably thinks he could be a content creator at some point in his life. I got a talent for this. I got a natural talent for this. No, motherfucker, you leech off of people, go onto their stages. You ended up squeezing other people out by being a manipulative turd that you are. and then you end up being able to open up rooms. Like, that's not because of your talent that people want to hear you. Now,
how did he squeeze it out? I don't understand this.
I don't want to get into it, but when it comes to like somebody who would actually be given a contract, first of all, let's assume you were talented, which you are not, because people come to healthy debates because they're used to coming to healthy debates. This is where, like, you know, the primarily white audience that's still left on this app that likes to have conversations will go. Roger was a much better. You know, I give Roger shit because he's kind of a bully, but Roger was like 10,000 times better than JB when it came to holding spaces. He actually let debates happen. He was not trying to control the goddamn room and the narrative and just try to self-aggrandize the way this motherfucker does. You know, I put JB or Jay in a completely different basket than Roger. Roger, I think he had his moments. He was a dick. He was a bully. But at the end of the day, I don't look at Roger as a threat or somebody who's inherently bad. I just think he's kind of been an asshole. But JB, I put in a totally different basket. Like, this guy is, he's a fucking snake. His brain is wired that way. He can't help but be that way. And the only thing I would say is he keeps on running with this fucking narrative that I somehow have, you know, I was doxing people. I'm a doxer. Bro, I said $1,000 fucking dollars, bitch. Find the goddamn recording, you stupid motherfucker. You see, here's the thing. Hold on. Here's the difference. Okay, you tried to go at me with narratives that are false. You never had the proof. I troll you with the fucking truth, motherfucker. That's why it stings, you stupid bitch. Let's talk about your goddamn teeth. Are those fucking dentures or are those really shitty veneers? I'm going to guess they're fucking dentures.
You can't fault the guy. Okay, someone who's been in prison, you can't fault a guy for having veneers or fake teeth. You just can't do that, bro.
I have crowns. I have crowns and I have a veneer. Like, but I boxed, and like hockey players, a lot of people have to. They do this shit, but with him. But what my shit looks natural though. What I'm trying to ask him.
This discussion is none of my business, so I'm dipping. Thank you, Pepe.
Amazing.
God bless you.
Get the fuck on, nigga.
Fuck on.
So I would just say this, you know, motherfucker, do you have horse teeth? Like those horse teeth of yours? Are those fucking dentures, or are those crowns, or excuse me, veneers? Something tells me they're probably dentures, not veneers, because you're poor. You live in a fucking dump. I already know that. I love it. Mine. What is the name of that fucking gay ass idea you stole from Sig? Fuck. Let me look it up. Masculinity mindset. That's what it was. Masculinity mindset. Once again, there's nothing masculine about you, you fucking bitch. That is literally why are you moving? And this is another thing I've been meaning to ask. Why are you moving to Houston? Why is that? Does it have anything to do with you not being able to afford to live by yourself? You don't have a business or a job right now. I understand you created next level content creator, but you're obviously not making money doing this. So where's your money coming from, you stupid faggot? Where's it coming from? You fucking poser. How are you masculine? How are you not masculine enough to not fight the urge to take advantage of young women and like literally slut them out and take none of their money? You know what I think would have been really funny? Is that if you actually came across a real pimp, something you couldn't do, and he took his big 6'5" hands, black hands around your white cracker neck and he squeezed the goddamn life out of you. That would have been funny. And you know what? The world would be a better place. You wouldn't exist anymore. I'm not advocating for harm, but I think that if a pimp would have done that to you, strangled the life out of your fat, pudgy, denture-wearing ass.
Wait, was he molested as a kid? Because I'm fine.
Yeah, he was raped as a kid. At least that's what he's suing people for, but he's a con man.
Yeah, okay, I see this. So to Google his name.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what I saw when I Googled it. I don't know. That's a claim. But I get it. I mean, well, to be fair, like, I think pedophiles should, like, I don't want to get banned because, you know, if I say what should happen to them. But do I necessarily feel sorry that it happened to Jay? Not really. Because I do think he's such a pernicious, dirty little piece of shit.
Well, that could have led to him being an odd character.
I don't think so. I think he's just, his brain's wired a certain way. And so I do think that, like, maybe he was being punished early on in life, knowing that you're a predator, so you're going to get preyed on. Just like the dirty little filthy piece of shit he is. I don't know.
What is he doing in Boca? Or is that just a false address?
What do you mean?
The business is out of Boca.
Yeah, but the mailing address is out of Florida. I mean, excuse me, New York. But yeah, you know, I listened to this fucking retard. The thing is, though, is Bren was intelligent. He's somebody you could have a real debate with, and he could challenge your opinions or assumptions. When it comes to even Roger, I don't think he's stupid. I don't think he's nearly as smart as he thinks he is. And not the last time he blocked me, but the time before that, I was saying how, like, look, I'm more intelligent than average. Maybe, you know, this was even when I had to do the standardized tests in school and all of that. You know, I'm in the top 10 percentile. So 1 out of 10, you know, okay, you're smarter than average. It's fine. Like, am I somebody who's 1 out of 100? That's still quite a jump. You start looking into 1 in 1,000, 1 in 30,000, 1 in 100,000. You know, you're looking at people that are just in a whole different range than you. I have never claimed to, like, be one of those people. But, you know, yeah, I mean, Roger is way more intelligent than JB. And, you know, Roger, I think maybe has his own issues and he does this for another reason. He's somebody who, I think Roger I don't think he actually is a genuinely bad guy that's trying to use people. I think he is passionate about his opinions, but he does this troll, but the troll doesn't work because of who he is in real life. But JB's a whole different story. He's just this goddamn parasite that wants to get attention and use people. It's just all about him. There's no ideology. There's definitely no cause greater than him. It's just about him. And, you know,
I will say he has been pretty nice, though. Not discounting the whole kiss ass of people, but it's generally been.
But that's what predators do. Do you think a child molester, for example, what is grooming behavior? How do they groom you?
You think he was grooming the whole room?
No, I don't think you get how these people work.
No, I get.
They soften you up. Hold on. They soften you up. You gain a child's trust, for example. You give them gifts. You make them feel very comfortable being around you. That's grooming, and then you do the dirty shit. Pimping is rather similar. You know, quote unquote, the game of pimping it's like you're literally emotionally manipulating these people, and it's a job that only sociopaths like Jay would have. But Jay's like kind of different from a lot of sociopaths. He's just has these such strong narcissistic traits that he cannot help himself but for them to continue. And the reason I laugh about him is like, watch, he's going to do the same thing tomorrow, the next day, the day after that, and the day after that. Why? He cannot control himself. That is how his brain is wired. A therapist cannot rewire his fucking brain. He can't change. And so this manipulative piece of shit is going to continue being the same way he's always been. I mean, it's like, I don't want toxic spaces. Why'd you open up a space and talk about me, you stupid motherfucker, with your goddamn dentures, you piece of shit? No, I don't know that he has dentures. I like to troll with the truth.
What'd you do to piss him off earlier that made him get that room?
Oh, no. He was... long story short, I put a PTR of Roger, and a few days ago, when he said, "Oh, he's doxing him. He's doxing his family. He's doxing." Motherfucker, I've been asking you for a few days. In order for your narrative to stand true, you need to show that I was doxing anybody. Tell me at one point where I said Roger's real fucking name on a clubhouse stage. You cannot do it. In fact, show me where I gave anybody's real name on a clubhouse stage. Where did I give family members' names? Where did I get social security numbers? Where did I give out any of the shit that you were trying to claim? You got $1,000. Where is it? I know you were trying to hype up your room saying, "Oh, we're getting it. John Kitover has it." Where is it, motherfucker? You don't have it. I never fucking doxed anybody. You stupid fuck. Everybody knew Roger's real name from season fucking 1. They knew about the goddamn interview that he did. And despite the fact, that's how I found out about his goddamn interview. And nobody... And what's funny is you have people like Jane, on this app, Rosenzweig, I forget her last name. She is not a fan of mine. She completely disagrees with me. You look like Scotty. There's a bunch of people from season 1 that are like, no, that's not doxing. It's common knowledge who the fuck he is. And he went and did a public fucking video with another large member of Clubhouse, and I screenshotted it. Blacked out his fucking name and put it in my PTR. That's not doxing. He put all of this shit out there publicly on the same platform where I ended up using his fucking PTR. And you're going to tell me that's fucking doxing.
It sounds like Jay's just a fucking weirdo. We got to get more understanding on how he took over that club. Because
we don't know the detail. We don't know the details.
Well, how the fuck would Brent get kicked out? Because
we're all asking ourselves the same question because none of it sits well, and you can tell that every time Brent is brought up, we get to hear Jay say, "Oh, you mean the fake judge? The fake judge?" There's this contempt he has for him.
Is he a judge though? Has anyone confirmed that?
I don't know. But it doesn't matter. Here's healthy debates. Okay, look. If it wasn't for JB, healthy debates would literally be still getting in between 50 to 100 people today. They have 30,000 plus people. All of it, especially as non-blacks that exist on this app. I don't mean this in a racist way, but especially as non-blacks, because non-blacks tend not to go into the dark side. You guys all know this. You guys will all agree with that are black. Okay, and so those of us that are not on the dark side but like to have political discussions and that kind of shit, we're all familiar with healthy debates. And so we'd go into these fucking rooms. And it wasn't necessarily because we liked Roger, which, by the way, Roger was not a bad mod, but he would act like an asshole often, and he'd portray himself in a way which he was, it's not.
I don't know. I don't think Roger was that bad, honestly.
Maybe not. I said that.
An asshole a little bit more than Roger. I've seen him snap.
Who?
Kelly was the worst. Do Kelly?
Yes, Kelly. Yeah, they were a power. Yeah, sure. They were a power couple, and Kelly was
Power couple.
They were. Yeah, that was his attack dog. Absolutely.
Attack? What the fuck?
But even Kelly is somebody that I would say. She would say, "I swear, Pepe, if you don't shut your high pitched voice," and I'd say, like, "Shut up, bitch." She'd like invite me up, like right after she got done talking. Like she was somebody who she was kind of had a sense of humor. And she kind of got what I was doing, but she, she had her boundaries, and she still, she would be kind of like a bitch.
She's more of a, I feel like she's truly like an unhinged egomaniac.
No, I actually don't think so. I don't think.
You don't think
was.
so?
No, I don't think she was a bad person.
Interpreting, but she actually seemed like actually a little nuts to me.
No, I don't think she was. I don't think
definitely more nasty than anyone. I don't think Roger was actually nasty to people, but he'd get some retards he'd have to set straight. But Brent, I've sometimes has been pretty nasty to some people.
Well, sure. I mean, we all have.
No, but like.
No, Brent is an arrogant, gay fuck. That's all he is.
Sure.
Who resents the fact that he gets it up the ass all the time.
All right. No, we're not going to trash Brent on my fucking stages.
Yeah, well, the most
we have different opinions. It's fine.
The most notable thing about Brent is his claim that he was on a part of a non-profit or something that disseminated that had access to $60 million a year to promote gay issues. And to me, that's what's notable, because that's $60 million to promote all of the stuff we get in schools, et cetera, et cetera. That was a few years ago.
I thought the most notable thing about him was that he's a current sitting federal judge in the creative or something. That seems more notable than all the pro gay stuff, but that's quite a bit of money to promote unreasonable amount of homosexuality in society.
But a federal judge.
Yeah, he claimed that he claimed he was like a sitting.
Yeah, okay, but my dad's a retired federal judge, and my stepmom's a current federal judge, and I'm just saying, they don't make that much, but they make definitely better than average. They're not wealthy.
No, they get the donations from somewhere. It's not his.
No, no, they're not in elected positions. In other words, they're appointed by a goddamn president. Okay, and then they basically can serve for lifetime if they want to. It's not. They do not get donations. It's not an elected position, and it's at the federal level.
Well, those donations can't be used on private endeavors anyway, so I don't think that matters, right?
Yeah, but they didn't. My dad did not have to run. He was not elected to be a fucking judge.
So did they kick Kelly out?
I think she has some of her own stuff going on. I wish her the best. The Kelly thing's kind of irrelevant at this point. But if you're asking me, my understanding, Kelly is kind of, she's going to be more in line with Roger. They were a power couple. They gelled well together. They did spaces. To be fair, they were in lockstep with each other. And I do think that Kelly, she does not, I don't think she has necessarily, I think there was a dynamic between her and Roger where they worked well together, but it was not necessarily something that this kind of chemistry, I guess you can say, was not something that existed between, the other admins on the, healthy debates.
I have a feeling there's something deeper going on here, because what the claims were, some of these people doing for work and the amount of time they do this stuff, right? But what happened in healthy debates is they were going pro-Trump, And then all of a sudden, as close as it gets to the election, they're trying to like switch everyone over to libertarian. And to me, that's splitting.
They did that.
They were pushing that.
Libertarian.
They were libertarian.
No, but no, because like Roger. No bullshit. Because Roger after October 7th was like, for the most part, like fuck libertarians. Libertarians, he felt like they were not willing to. They didn't believe that Israel should be able to fight back, which even I'm critical of Israel. You could say I'm a Zionist. I believe the country should exist. But, like, even I would say, like, oh, no, Israel should do nothing in response. No, you have to, like, go after the people who did that, like, obviously. And I would say, I don't want to speak for him, but he did think that Israel should respond, which I would agree with. Man, a lot of libertarians were against that. I guess I didn't see him going full libertarian. He might not have voted for Trump, sure.
No, but it was a tone of the political conversation in the room where I found it.
Yeah, I don't think he had any kind of like agenda, dude. I'm telling you.
I don't know. Maybe I'm paranoid. Okay, but
you can say you're paranoid, but this motherfucker. First of all, the Libertarian Party has like next to zero fucking pull in the United States. This is not some wealthy dude that is changing the outcomes of local elections or whatever. He's literally somebody giving his own fucking opinion, kind of like me. I have zero power to change the outcomes of elections unless I can like convince people. I guess that would be a way I could do it, but. Roger is not. I do think he's giving his opinions, even though I think they might. Some of his opinions they may or may not be working against his best interests. I'd have to talk to him more, but I don't think he was trying to. I don't think he was doing anything nefarious. Like libertarians are. They've been very well known for voting against Republicans and Democrats, especially over specific issues. I don't think that makes him. If he's a libertarian, he does not have like an allegiance to the Republican Party, like whatsoever.
I found the timing odd.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying, Pepe. He doesn't have any allegiance to any particular party. And I think he made at some point, and this is speculation, he made a conscious decision. It's either one of two things. He decided that it was better for him as a libertarian to align with the Democrats as opposed to the Republicans, seeing how libertarians for a long time did align with Republicans because at least they were closer than Democrats were to what libertarian goals were. But I think it also could have been that, he just decided that he was going to get more people into his room if he aligned with Democrats, or that he was going to get more people in his rooms if he aligned with black people. And I think the last option is probably the closest one. Now, again, this is speculation, but I do know this is a guy who had, at one point he had a room that went for 7 or 9 or 10 days straight. And so he's heavily invested in Clubhouse. And that may be his motivation.
But that's the funny part is that, as you know, I've been opening up rooms more lately, even though I was always kind of participate. I would take breaks, but I would participate in other people's rooms. And then maybe a couple weeks ago, there was a streak where I opened up a few rooms. the last few days I've been kind of doing it, but I do. It is way, 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 way different from when I opened up rooms before. It's like you'd open them up in your house, amazing. It's like right before you go live. Because remember how, I don't know if you remember this, you had to, when you opened up a room before you, it would only be open to members of the house, but then you would go live to the whole app. But it's just like you get 40, 50 people in your room in under a minute. And it's just, it's like, oh, okay, like we'll keep on going. Then they changed the app so much a couple of years ago where they didn't want it to be like content creator friendly. And the owners of the app, they were pretty much like upfront about that. And so that was like the last mass exodus. And like I was spending time on X Spaces. I didn't really want to go through like all of the work of like trying to make a name for myself on there. It was, I've been doing this shit for years. I was like, I guess you could say, could make a name for myself on the platforms I was on, but it's also like people have been a lot more radicalized in comparison to when I first started. Like people were always calling me the fucking Nazi, the white nationalist, the horrible, evil racist, all of that stuff. And then like I go onto X and it's just like, God damn, I am like milquetoast compared to these dudes.
Pepe, the Overton window has shifted a lot since you started on Clubhouse.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Especially the 2 years before, or a year before I started on Clubhouse. It has shifted so much. It's just like, no, like how, like I can go on to X and it's just like you literally have like the JQ room. It probably has a few hundred people in it at any given time. You have the neo-Nazi spaces. I don't know if they so much have as many, but it's like still a few hundred. You have the other alt-right spaces. You have like the more like right-wing Jews. You have, and you don't have much in the way of left-wing content. It could just be my algorithm, but, and then like I would go in, the only people I would kind of like talk to the people in the neo-Nazi spaces and even the JQ spaces a little bit, but then I just got, they're like so fucking retarded that I just like good riddance with you fucking people. Like you're gonna go extinct. As long as you guys go extinct, I think the white race will be better. And then we have like, I'd go into rooms that they would sometimes get big, but even like Jared Spencer would go into them. Other people, they were right-wing Jews. Where there's a lot more like we see things kind of more similarly to each other. But it's just like,
well, Pepe,
this populist racist, like, and at times anti-Semitic, or even largely anti-Semitic movements that you see are just so like, they're so like, I don't know how else to put it, just like low IQ. You can talk to these people, try to give them facts, all of this stuff, but it's just like, kind of like how like black nationalists are. Like because a lot of them are fucking retarded.
But Pepe, I think what you're missing,
they just they will not actually take this information and utilize it whatsoever. It doesn't matter. The facts don't matter. They feel a certain way. Go ahead.
I think, Pepe, that you don't recognize that the right-wing griper types, they have no institutional power in America. They're like a sideshow. They're a joke. Whereas the leftist anti-Semites that you see on Clubhouse, they have institutional power, right? If you go to the wealthiest donors to leftist causes, they agree with the leftist anti-Semites. So the leftist anti-Semites are ascendant. They're more and more powerful. And the right-wing anti-Semites are kind of a joke. Like, no one takes them seriously.
Yeah, but I would say this, the right wing, there are a lot of memes that have been, there are a lot of memes I've seen that have been going around for the last few years, just like you hear like a leftist. So let's just say like you're a Nazi or neo-Nazi, whatever, and you hear like a leftist woman, and she's describing what is wrong with the Israeli lobby or Israel or whatever, and even Jews, and then it's just like a right-wing guy overhearing it, and it's just like she comes from heaven. I like that.
They all sound the same, bro. They're all complaining about the same shit.
I mean, to an extent, but I would say that there is like this reality that exists with the ones that are not like, I guess you say like really dumb, that the left, at the end of the day, any convergence of interest that you see with the left when it comes to things like, let's say Palestine or in Israel, these people are the same people who will also say that like, oh, America, that's just a land that was brutally colonized, and it was built on stolen land by stolen people. Like, your origin story is so goddamn evil that the whole construct behind America and what it means to be American and the American identity needs to be erased and changed. In fact, you guys are not. You don't even really exist. In fact, Pilgrim, go back to Europe. It's pretty much the same. It's the same thing you'll hear about, like, Israelis. Like, these people are like natural. They're the natural enemies of the far right. And like, I do think it's silly when I hear, people that are on the dissident right that have been cozying up with Islamists and, these leftists. They do not share the same fucking goals as most of these people. But hook, line, and sinker, so many people on the dissident right have bought into, like, especially the garbage narratives that come from the Arabs, or Muslims, I should say.
Bro, you agree with half of them. And Pepe, they only agree on certain issues, all relating pretty much to Israel and some form of Jewish control in America.
Well, I would say
it's not like the far right is like, yeah, we need to also convert everyone to Islam.
Oh,
at least I don't know.
Sure. So if I talk to somebody who's like anti-Israel, one of the things I'd say, like, dude, I'm sick of seeing Western countries being inundated with your people and how you behave in our countries. And they'll say, bro, if only you went against Israel, they would not have to leave their countries, bro. They want to stay in their countries, man. That is such fucking bullshit. Like, Pakistan has nothing to fucking do with Israel. These Pakistanis, you can say, like, the trouble was kind of invited by, I guess, the Britain's colonial expansion into Southern Asia, but it's like, no, it's not the same fucking thing. Like, to blame Jews for all of the fucking problems. What's really weird is I see the same fucking people that are pro-Palestine, literally the same people, go into rooms that have a progressive Western audience and tug on their fucking heartstrings. And I'm sorry,
you do the same thing. Like, you'll be in my rooms, you'll go to other people's rooms, and you'll agree with both of us, and we're like on far different sides of the spectrum.
Well, sure, but
what is talking about, like, yeah.
Sure, but what do I ultimately say should happen to Muslim people in the West? I've said this a million times.
I'm not saying, like, your view on Muslim aside. I'm talking about the thing that bridges the left and the right and you is the common criticism of the Israeli lobby or something Israel does or whatever, quote-unquote, control in America. And that's the same thing you're complaining about, but you literally agree with just those specific points.
Well, I do think that like Israelis, not Israelis, I would say Zionists are willing to to really center Israel far more than I think is probably good for them, because a lot of us, including myself, we think it's very obnoxious. And with evangelical Christians, with their end times prophecy, they don't care about how it looks. What they care about is their religion, end times prophecy. And now you get Jews who are Zionists, and are they obviously biased? Of course. But with me, it's just like, okay, like I do not believe in giving Israel like any real preferential treatment. I don't, and I'm saying this as somebody who supports Israel. Like, I'm not going to, at the end of the day, things might not even play out much differently, because I would support Israel over most of the people they've been fighting, but it's just like, okay, look, dude, we have our own country. This is our identity. Your identity is not tied to ours.
You're a tool for them, bro. As simple as that.
Well, we kind of...
Not you, sorry. I just mean, like...
No, I mean, it's more complicated than that. Like, we kind of used each other.
Yeah, you can even say it that way. But it's like, I think what you and some American nationalists have is maybe they're far-reaching and using America too much, putting it in danger, and just doing things with our laws.
I don't know. It's just, I do think the Shah of Iran kind of touched on this very well. And it was just, he was, I forget the name of it. He was an iconic news person at the time. He interviewed Shah of Iran. Yeah, and he was like, first he asked him the question, like, do you think that the Zionists are kind of, they're creating a problem in the United States where his argument was basically like, yeah, they're just doing too much. Eventually are they going to get sick of it in America? And I do agree. I do think they do too much. Now, when it comes to the Palestinians, the same interview, he said, well, they're committing terrorism. Like, who's going to stand by that? That's only going to hurt their cause. Nobody's going to stand by that. Any, basically reasonable, moral fucking person is going to be like, nope, can't tolerate that. And so when it comes to the Zionists, I feel like, yes, this shit is shoved in their face way too hard. But I do not look at like the rhetoric that I hear from the pro-Palestinian side as, in fact, it is so much worse than the Zionist side. I mean, I go into rooms like Amir's. We can't agree on like even basic facts that we know happened.
I would agree with. I'm banned from Amir's room for life, and I'm Palestinian. That guy is not fucking. I know what you mean, because there's elements of that in his room, though, of that annoying shit you're talking about. But that motherfucker is just retarded.
But yeah, it's see, like, I don't have a problem with Jewish people or the state of Israel. I think they try to. I do think there's like way too much pressure and propaganda that comes from the supporters of Israel, which a lot of them are like, in reality, evangelical Christians, and that's kind of like their foothold here.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, the pressure is different. There's pressure on both sides of this. Every side of it is putting pressure. You have the fucking college kids on campus running amok, doing crazy shit, protesting the street. You have people, interrupting whatever plays in theater or whatever, whatever activism shit they're doing. And then you have the pro-Israel pressure, which is a little bit more systemic. Like, their response is like the room you made yesterday. That's some pressure they're putting on, right? Like, there's examples of the pressure they're doing. And I get it. Like, there's annoying pressure on both sides. But I think that They're different kinds of pressure.
Well, I mean, so with the room I made yesterday, first of all, I'm going to say, like, Jonathan Greenblatt is this bald-headed faggot that looks like a fucking alien. I mean, they are so heavily skewed left. Abe Foxman, I don't really have much to say about him, but it's kind of like when they focused on just like outright Jew hate and not this political bullshit and like racial dynamics outside of the Jewish, community. Okay, fine. Like you're an advocacy group for your own people that will try to combat hate towards your group, and that's really all they would focus on in the past. Okay, fine. Amazing. I really can care less if you guys do that. But then you have people like Jonathan Greenblatt who has this like very progressive bend in his leadership, and what he defines as being hate or what he considers to be acceptable speech. Like this, I can't describe in words how much I despise this piece of shit. When it comes to the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism, I do think it's very vague. I do think that you should, when it comes to, for example, debating religion, if somebody was to say that okay, the Jews killed Jesus, I don't quite look at it that way, but there are going to be people that do. Should you be able to argue religious differences? Sure. Should you be able to say that I think, even though I disagree, that Israel is this state that colonized this region and they committed the original sin of colonization, much like how leftists will paint, the United States, Canada, New Zealand, Australia as being these colonizers that are absolutely horrible. Sure. I mean, I don't think, I'm not going to give a special, I'm not going to make one group of people exempt when they'll make the same argument towards us. And that's kind of why I just feel very uneasy with it. I as long as, and a lot of people say
the leftist weirdos are weak. In terms of power and Congress, they might have support online and shit, but they're weak as fuck in terms of getting policy, supported in Congress. On the other hand, the pro-Israel side seems to be a lot more successful at it. And I mean, I think some of the nationalists or whatever you want to call them, far-right people are just probably these fucking Islamists and communists are probably not going to, cause us much problems going forward. So when they're applying pressure on people with influence in politics, they're probably going to go for the pro-Israel side. And then rhetoric-wise on Twitter, of course, they're going to be shitting on both of them.
No, I agree. I think it was a paid content creator or somebody who had let's just say a show on TV or even if I was a politician, I would not. There's no way I could feasibly say the things I'm saying without causing huge backlash. I completely get that.
I think I figured out what Jay's doing. He's doing OnlyFans. Not himself, but for others.
It's good money in OnlyFans.
But that would explain this house. You said his house was a piece of shit. His house is coming back as registered to him, sold for $1.83. This shit.
All right, enough. Before I have to send people to the goo and mute people, Jesus.
I'm not doxing them, but I'm just.
No, but it's just so off topic. We're talking about something else.
We're looking at that shit on Zillow.
But I mean, realistically, so there's a couple things that dissident right wingers don't understand. This is that the enemies of America. This is the one thing they don't want to accept is that the enemies of America are the ones that are literally attacking Israel the most at this point in time. Like, that is, they understand that, like, what's happening in Israel is, like, it's very contentious. A lot of people they're very divided on their feelings. This is an issue where they're going to end up, like, trying to propagandize us in a million ways on social media, and they're going to get us to not support Israel.
Who are the dissident right? Like, if you could be a little more specific.
It is such a hodgepodge of people that it's
like white nationalists, maybe anti-Semites,
white nationalists, Groypers, Nazis.
You can make the argument, if you're on the right wing, that those people are enemies of America too. Because if you're part of a group that's one of the groups attacking Israel, which would be the Groypers, the Nazis, the white nationalists, is that an enemy of America too? You want to completely change America?
I don't necessarily look at it like that. But when I'm talking about foreign influence, there is a lot of albeit he is Jewish. He's a guy. We had maybe like 3 weeks ago, very early in the morning. I had like a 2-hour conversation with him on the phone. He's a guy who would make very big spaces on X, and he's an officer. I believe he's still an officer in the Canadian military. I also believe he served for the IDF.
Are you talking about Yehuda?
Yeah. God damn it! I shouldn't have said that.
It's not his name.
Well, I know, but that's his public-facing name. It's the only reason I'm like, kind of like, all right, I'll acknowledge it. But he is like, okay. So I didn't. He kind of let me. When we were talking, he was asking me like, do you know what the main goal of the propaganda and the influence that the malevolent actors online, what is their ultimate goal? And I remember, I don't know this. He has a little bit more experience in this area than I do, and he was saying, well, basically, like, it's to make it so that you question everybody, look at everybody as like untrustworthy, like a bad guy, and then you just kind of remain neutral, and so you don't you don't vote, basically. And it's a way of pacifying Americans. Like, that's been the strategy.
Divide and conquer.
The far left does the same thing. I know what you mean. They'll say,
sure, but Russia, but countries like Russia, they do this on both sides. And so their goal is, and I had to look this up afterwards. I mean, he has a lot. I'm just going to say here, like, I'm being humble. He's a more intelligent guy than myself. He's somebody who's, obviously has his security clearance and has different experience than I do. But just looking into it, I mean, that he was right. That is kind of the goal of when it comes to countries like Russia, when it comes to basically trying to make it so that you will not trust either side, and you'll become like docile. You will not trust either party, which I thought was interesting. I didn't know this existed, or that was the intent of their propaganda. I learned something new a few weeks ago. But I mean, like, even when it comes to the Palestinian side.
But he's been on it for
of the argument.
I would have said like even a year.
Have
maybe
we
just
had
the
like
last 6 or 7 months?
My biggest problem is I've never had.
It's the same shit every time with him.
It's really weird how it ends up playing out.
At
Whether
least
it's
they
on
comment on
X,
rooms that I'm here. God,
a year ago or so, or on here.
He wants to keep the narrative on
They
his,
give me their
on his
they give
behalf.
me their
Like, he
spiel.
wants to keep the ball in his court. And
Now, I'll ask them questions. I'll ask them to like verify something happened or that something did not happen. They did not do a particular thing on October 7th. They can't do it. And then they end up insulting me. They end up calling me like a stupid Shavos goy, whatever fucking language they like to use. And then it's just like, okay, but like, are you telling me that none of the people at the Nova Music Festival were killed by Hamas? Really? It was all by an Apache gunship? Is that really what we're going with? And I'll ask them about what happened in the kibbutzes. You're telling me those were not that was not Hamas? That those were Israelis that were posing as Hamas that were just shooting up their civilians in order to have a justification for the war? I mean, like, you have to understand, like, this is so far-fetched that, like, it's just like, okay, well, where's your fucking proof? Like, we saw these Hamas fighters fly into the Nova Music Festival. They obviously were not coming there to party. I mean, and even on this app, there were people that I didn't know, but that people I know that were, like, taken hostage and literally killed by these people. It's just like and to date, I should say, I have not had like an honest conversation with one pro-Palestinian person, and that is like the biggest hang-up with pro-Palestinian side. Like how you guys can't like persuade me that if anything that fits your narrative. I think whoever the guy was arguing with left. But weird.
So why not just make a different room? Is there a way to get paid for running these rooms?
On here?
Why?
Back in the day, you could make like big rooms and you were not like controversial. Sure.
But what would be the incentive for someone to take over a fucking whole group? Just a personal clout?
I have no idea.
You could get paid on chatter for your rooms, though.
Dude, I've been doing this for like several years in a row. Like, I'm somebody who literally never made like did anything on social media. The pandemic hit. It's just like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this shit. Mm-hmm. It was like it was like I'm somebody who was like going to the gym every fucking day for a few hours, and then like all of a sudden I'm like, oops, I'm at home. Amazing. I'm bored. I can't like spar with anybody. I can't do any of this shit. Okay, fuck it. I'm just gonna like talk about things that I find interesting. So I would find like ways to. I would go on to like using my real name, all of that shit. I would go like there would be local news stories, national news stories. I would make my comments, argue with people in there. Then I end up like graduating. I was on Reddit as well. Then there's a site called Omegle, and I was just like, oh, okay, like these people are randomly matching up. You just get to like put in what do you want to like have a debate about, and they match you up. And then I would put in a bunch of random things, and I would debate with people that either wanted to fight with me or not fight with me, or they're on my side, whatever. And then I noticed a lot of them were also in Discord servers. Like, what the fuck is Discord? And so I joined.
got banned, right?
It's just like now it's like Omi TV or some shit. It's like another company kind of took their name. But so I would go on Omegle, and I discovered Discord, and then I went on Discord, and the first one I joined was like the largest like political Discord. It's literally called Politics. I go on there, and you had people that I got to do debates with famous YouTubers, all of that shit, and people were like not pinging me, but they were sending me messages to come to Clubhouse. They'd like you here. Then I'd go on the app. I was like, this is weird. And then, for whatever reason, I came on there a few years ago, and then I was like, oh, this is kind of different from Discord. Because, one of the biggest problems we had on Discord is that you had a lot of 18, 19, 20-year-olds, which are just the biggest pain in the ass to deal with. But then on here, you don't really have that problem. And so I remember coming on here, I was kind of doing my usual shtick where I was, had my controversial beliefs and my moderation style that I had on Discord. And, I think it was just right place, right time. I had people like Mon who would since she's a person that's been on here since season 1, and she's, been on the black side of the app for so long. She'd kind of tell me oh, hey, with this person, you probably don't want to say this or that, or you want to change how you navigate around him. She was kind of I had this person who had a lot more experience on this app who in a way could guide me to where I could keep quiet, when or when not to do my thing. And so without her, I obviously I would not be the Clubhouse celebrity that I was. And she's also the person that would say, she'd ping me into these rooms, and they were all black spaces, literally 100% black. I'd be the only white guy, and she's like, come up on stage. I was like, what the fuck? And then she'd invite me up. And then what was really weird is these people, these content creators that were black kind of realized, yeah, he's kind of just a troll a little bit. And they were actually really nice to me. And then their audience warmed up to me, and it was Black Clubhouse ended up basically liking me. They were the majority of the people that would, kind of support me, come into my rooms. And so, I don't know. It's just in a way, I would say it's right place, right time. I met the right person.
Where did the white America come from?
Yeah, exactly, because he's Mexican, so.
Amazing. Shut your cracker ass up. So what happened? So, okay, so I spent a couple weeks on here. And I remember that when you go into these black rooms, they'd say you could be
trolling again. He's trolling.
You would get black people who would, let's say I was talking and a black woman over-talked you. They'd say, shut your goddamn white ass cracker. You can hear this black queen speak. Who the fuck are you? Whatever. Or who is you? Or however they would term it.
I think Pepe is really good.
Yeah, so, Bruce, you drunk motherfucker. Bruce, how many 40s have you had today?
I think he's really white.
Dude, the thing is, I'm the only white guy out here.
Okay, shut your cracker ass up.
Exactly. I'm never all crackers.
Okay, so you're gonna go.
Shut up.
Yeah. Uncrypt, shut the fuck up.
Here comes this drop.
As my friend would say, I'm not a crip, obviously. But yeah. So like, goddamn, I don't remember what the fuck I was saying. This fucking faggot. And
You were talking about how a black dude said they was calling you such a white ass.
Oh yeah. So like, after a couple of weeks on this app, I was like the beauty of whites and whiteness or some stupid shit. And then Sig, one of the first people I met on this app, he's a black guy. And the very first person I met on this app was Epimenides, or some weird Greek name. He's like a Jewish right-wing person. And so I that's how I got introduced basically to Jewish Clubhouse and the conservative Clubhouse. But so anyways, I was used to being treated a certain way. Sig was like, yeah, dude, I'll make a room with you. And so I made like a room. It wasn't in the house. And there's like, all of a sudden there's like 200 people in there. And the fucked up part is that Sig is the one who lost his account that night. Because he was the coon who dared open, a space, with such a title. And then there was I forget her name, but she had a house called White People. It's like WYPIPO.
Oh, KB.
She gave a bunch of people admins in there, and so like Andrew Meyer was a fucking admin. So I'd have a couple hundred people in my room, and he would boom it. So I'm just like, fuck it, I'll just do White America. That's basically how it started.
I thought it was because Prince opened up a house of Black America, and then that's what prompted you to do White America.
No, he did that way after White America was like the big room. Or house, I should say.
And do you fuck with black people?
What?
Do you fuck with niggas?
I don't know what that means.
What kind of question is that? Holy shit.
It means like, do you like them as people? Mike's translator, bro.
Well, Ian's never said anything racist since I've been on this app.
I've never met him, so this is my first time.
Monica is somebody who, like, it's kind of like, is that really what you're trying to say? And so, like, you can question her, but Ian's not one of those fucking people.
I just want to know if she like black people. Shit. She in a white America room, so I think it's a fair question. Was telling, so I take that
I
as a no.
enjoy kind, genuine human beings. How about that? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that answers my question. You fucking crazy?
Well, there was a hood rat on this app who, excuse me, as I'm eating. So she's a hood rat. She got dragged by the black clubhouse. Now, she needed a place to stay, and gave her a place to stay. And she was not.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm not going to get too many details, but like Anne let her in. Is a black woman, obviously.
In her house, in her real home.
Yes.
Oh.
So she met with a clubhouse guy, a black guy, and then shit didn't work out. there was a lot of drama behind that, which I'm not going to get into, but Anne let her in to stay at her house, and she was even the black side of Clubhouse that it's like Herm. He's had her in her room. He's a criminal defense attorney. He's been doxxed so many times. He's been in the news, and he's a real fucking attorney. He's not, a Clubhouse faker. Everybody's kind of laughed about it because it's like she was acting ratchet and fucking ghetto. That whole situation was not good.
Yeah, it was wild.
She basically had you let someone into your home, and did they end up doing you dirty at all, or was it cool after?
We're fine. No. We're fine.
I see.
Yeah.
I love Clubhouse, man. And will let me stay at her home if I ever hit a rock bottom. I love you, man. That's amazing.
Oh, shit. John Kidner in the building, man.
My Arab sister.
Fuck that guy, Mike. He's a stalker, man. But
Pepe, what's up with you? If I hit rock bottom, you think I could get an extra couch or something?
Yeah.
Damn. See, all the homeless people really just need to get on Clubhouse.
A lot of people don't realize this. Like, my youngest brother, he got addicted to pills, and I don't know for sure. I'd find tinfoil with black markings and shit when he came back to Arizona for a little bit. He was definitely addicted to opiates. Whether or not he used heroin or was hanging out with heroin users, I don't know. But I had a friend, Robbie, that I met at the College Republicans Club, and his brother, him and his brother went to the best high school in Phoenix. It's called Brophy. All boys, and then on the same campus you have Xavier, which is all girls. And a lot of people may think this sounds cruel, but it doesn't. If you've ever had to be around somebody like my brother when he was really, really addicted, he would steal my shit, pawn it. He just did a lot of shit. But my friend Robbie's dad he had a chair out on the back patio. He would give him a remote and say, yeah, you can watch TV from the outside, but you can't come in the fucking house. And I know that sounds holy shit, that's cruel. But any of you who've had to really deal with somebody like this, it is. I don't think people understand how far they will go, to get their drugs.
Hey, you got dope fiend in your house who just keeps fucking robbing shit all the time. I know someone who the parents let him build out half the garage. It was only a one-car garage, and they'd lock him in. There was a separate entrance though through that side from the garage, and that's what he lived in, even though there was another bedroom for him. They're just yeah, we're not dealing with that shit anymore.
That's difficult, man, especially if it's family. I had a friend who kind of tried that, and we let him stay on the porch because our other friend just, yeah, man, we're not going to let him in. He's going to start selling all his shit. Happened in college. I can only imagine if it was a sibling. That'd be heartbreaking, man.
And I think that's one of the things, people don't realize that the homeless people that you often see on the street, I'm not going to say all of them, but
yeah,
okay, there's short term. Most of the homeless, the bulk majority of homeless people at any given time, you can hear about the people that live in their cars, but most of them they'll stay at family members or friends. They can do something. Because these are people that haven't worn out a welcome generally. But when you're somebody who's like in the throes of drug addiction, you end up basically wearing out the welcome of everybody. And so it's a gradual process where you can go stay with person to person. You generally going to start with family, but then it's just like you violate them too much. You're stealing shit. They're just like, wow, okay, I can't do anything, and then you end up becoming homeless. And there is such very high rate of occurring, not just substance abuse, but also serious mental illness that a lot of this population has. And I go back and forth with this because, like, I don't want to institutionalize people. And I have a lot of people like, I just don't want to fucking see them. Well, okay, but I also don't want to violate their rights to the point to where like they're warehoused, basically imprisoned. But I do think I will say this. When I was a case manager working with the seriously mentally ill adults in Maricopa County, like 20 years ago, we had like 90 beds allocated to Maricopa County. Now, today we have like over 4 million people. In order to get put into the state hospital, you had to do something super egregious. I was somebody who so happened to like case manage somebody who ended up getting sent there. And it took a lot for them to get sent there. But I mean, there are a lot of people that do need to be institutionalized. And I would even ask, as much as I don't want to institutionalize a lot of these people, at what point do you get to say that, like, you're killing yourself with drugs?
No,
are we actually being humane by letting him do it in plain sight?
No, you have to institutionalize. Let me give you an example. My friend was getting to have a 10-year relationship, flunks out of law school, ends up back at his parents' second house in fucking Boca with a little brother and sister around. And he's fucking living there. I say little, these people are pushing 30 plus, right? And he ends up getting high all the time. He had like $60K saved, nothing, the debt from school, but nothing else, car, and $60K. He blows through all that, just fucking blowing coke like every day and partying, and eating weed gummies, and fucking just, just whatever. He ends up getting the DWI. We fucking bail him out like immediately that night. And then he fucking overdoses and died. But his mom was watching him like a hawk, kept checking in on him in the middle of the night. But this time she only got to him at 7 a.m. Fucking gives him CPR, saves him. And it's like we bail him out of jail is this close to him dying. Like he was in a coma for the day, he came back all right, a little slow, a little deaf at first, but then everything's back to normal. But like these people who are using drugs, like there's a kid I know from fucking middle school. I grew up on North Shore, Long Island. There's so many people, when they're using drugs, like it's not like, oh, they're doing a little bit of fucking, taking a little mushroom, smoking some weed. They're fucking shooting dope and shit. Like, they're fucked. You need to lock them the fuck up. One of the guys I know from middle school, he passes away when we were like 30. I remember him. I just called him mom to say sorry. She goes, what more can I do? I sent him to rehab since he was 18. Basically, on average, from 18 to 30, she sent him every 8 months. They had the money to send him. From 18 to fucking 30, every 8 months is getting sent to a rehab.
Well, I mean, the reality, locking them up doesn't really solve that problem. And I would say this, people still get drugs in prison. It shouldn't be a shocker. The drug trade continues in prison. And so it's not, let's start out with some usual. What's really hard is that
it doesn't have to be prison. But the point is, like,
Look, the guy ended up getting the TV, and as soon as he went home in the middle of the night, he fucking ordered pizzas. I was actually on the phone with him because it was the night Trump won, and we were talking about it. And I fell asleep with the phone on speaker, and I fucking wake up, and I'm like, oh God, his parents found out that he got the DWI. I thought he was getting yelled at. It's the commotion of his mom and sister freaking out. They're yelling, why is he on the phone with him? And I'm just listening like, oh shit. And then I realized something wasn't right. These people are out of their mind. You don't have to sit here.
Well, I get what you're saying. Like the biggest argument, the biggest argument that even like I don't know how much has changed.